Systems of equations. This is a digital lesson. Teaches students how to find the solution using elimination, substitution, and graphing. So it starts with a definition of what a system of equations is, and then it tells them that there are three possible solutions. It could be one solution, no solution, or an infinite number of solutions. And here's what the graph looks like for each one. So for one solution, it means there's two lines, they cross at one point, and this point is their solution. If the lines are parallel, there is no solution because they will never cross. And if it's the same line, it would be one line on top of the other, which means an infinite number of solutions. So students starting on slide 8, they need to type in whether it's one solution, no solution, or an infinite number of solutions. So parallel lines, no solution, one solution here. Then they're given equations so they can see if the slope is the same and the y-intercepts are different, that would be parallel lines, so no solution. Lines are exactly the same, an infinite number of solutions. Different slopes, different y-intercepts, one solution. And again, same slope, different y-intercepts would be no solution. So the students are going to start by graphing. So on slide 12, they're going to move these points and move these lines in order to graph. And so they're given two equations. And they just click and hold on the points and they can move them onto the graph. So the first one, we have a y-intercept of -1. So you know that there's going to be a point at 0, -1. There's a slope of 2, so it would be rise up 2 to the right 1. And then they're going to use these lines in order to connect. So they just need to click and hold on these little blue circles and then they can move this. So they might need to play with this just a little bit to get them accurate. Now for the second equation, they've got a y-intercept of 4. So they know they're going to have a point at 0, 4. And then they've got a negative slope, -3. So it's going to be down 3, 1, 2, 3 to the right 1. And they've already got a point there, so they don't need to use this one. Now they're going to connect these 2 points. Again, click and hold on that blue circle. And they can see the point where they meet is the point 1, 1. So they're going to type that in at the bottom. There, they've solved it. So then they're given a couple more. They're going to do the same thing. They have to graph the 2 lines, find the point where they meet. Now we're going to go to the elimination method. So they're given an example of how that works. Starting on slide 17, they're just going to fill in the text boxes in order to do this. So they're going to start by adding the 2 equations together. X plus x would give them 2x. Y and -y would be 0. And then 14 plus 6 would be 20. So they don't need that 0, so it's 2x equals 20. X equals 10. Now they're going to take the solution of x equals 10 and they can plug it into either equation, doesn't matter. In this case, we're going to use the first equation. So we know that x equals 10. We're going to solve by subtracting 10 from both sides. So that gives you y equals 4. So the solution is the point, the x coordinate first, 10, 4. We're going to do the same thing with some other equations. We want to look at these little letters that are in the green hearts because that's going to help them solve a riddle farther in the lesson. Okay, and then we can also use elimination with subtraction. So in this case, you can say if you subtract the 2 equations, you get 2x subtract 2x, which would give you 0. So you eliminate by subtraction. And they're given a couple examples here. So again, they subtract, they're going to get 4x. 5 y's cancel each other out, and they get -16, subtract a -12, which would give them -4. Okay, and then they're going to solve that one. Got a couple more to solve. And then they're going to eliminate. Now, sometimes they don't eliminate easily. So you might need to take one equation and multiply by a number that would give you something to eliminate. So in this example, if you multiplied this entire equation, the second equation, by 2, that would give you a negative 6y, and then the y's would cancel out. So the students need to first just look and see what they would multiply in order to get 2 of these to cancel out. So here they could multiply by negative 2, and they would get negative 2x, negative 4y. So all they're doing on this slide is, and there might be more than one possibility, as long as they get one that works, that eliminates one of the variables. Okay, now this one you're going to multiply the entire equation when the arrow is pointing to. So in order to eliminate, you would want to multiply probably by negative 5 if you're adding the two equations together. If you're subtracting, you might want to multiply times 5. That would be a little bit more difficult. So negative 5, if you multiply the entire equation times negative 5, you get negative 5x, negative 15y, and then equals negative 55. So you can see the x's now eliminate, and you're left with negative 13y equals negative 39, and go ahead and solve it. So once you solve for one variable, you can go ahead and plug it back into the either equation and get your value for y. So it's x here and y here. Okay, so they've got a couple more they're going to do that with. Again, there might be more than one number they could multiply by, but it should work no matter which one they use. Now when they get to slide 28, they're solving an algebra riddle. So they have to go through slides 17 through 26, find these solutions. So they should have come up with all of these solutions. When they find that slide with this solution, they're going to look and see what letter is in the green heart, and they're going to type that letter above the solution, and that will solve the riddle. And then finally, we're going to look at substitution. You're going to solve for one of the variables and plug it into the other equation. So it shows how to do that. And then they're told to solve for x. So they're going to solve for x in this first equation. Excuse me here. And they're going to do that by adding y to both sides. So it would be x equals y plus 1. And so they're going to plug it into the second equation, y plus 1. That will give them 5y plus 5 plus the 3y that's still there. And they're going to combine like terms. 8y plus 5. And then they're going to subtract 5 from both sides. They will put 8y equals 40 and y equals 5. So now they've solved for one of the variables. And then on the next slide, they're just going to type in again y equals 5, plug it into one of the equations, and get the x value, and then type in the solution. So they're giving a couple more of these to do. And then they get one more riddle. They're going to go back through slides 33 through 37, look for these 3 solutions, and then look for the letter that's in the yellow heart, and that'll tell them what to type to solve the riddle. So that's it. Nice work on systems of linear equations.